Hi, God bless y'all, and this is the third episode on the series Jesus and the Centurions. So let's get started. Starting off, I want to remind you that there's another 2 episodes previous to this one, so y'all can go watch it, and so y'all can see how this Bible study is being made in its format, and it's going in its order, so y'all can review that and watch it over again. The passage for this episode will be specifically Mark 15:39, and it says, "And when the centurion who stood there in front of Jesus saw how he died, he said, 'Surely this man was the Son of God.'" Okay, since this is the second centurion I'll be talking about for this series, you're gonna be like, okay, that verse was a little random. What is going on? What is the context? So this is the crucifixion of Christ. So before he's actually put on a cross, it's being shown that he was tortured, beaten, mocked at, and made fun of. And Jesus is like this very calm lamb. Like, he's not moving. He's not cursing them or anything. No, he's actually there all peacefully, although inside of him he was like going through all of this emotional pain, physical pain, all of that he was going through all at one moment. And we're having all of this going around, all the mocking, and they're saying, "Let the Christ, the King of Israel, descend now from the cross, and we may see and believe." So this is what they're saying. They're making fun of him, and he's on this cross, just taking in all of the sin that is being weighted over him, since he's so innocent. Then we have him here also crying with a loud voice, saying, "Eloi, Eloi, lama sabachthani," saying, my God, why have you forsaken me?" He's saying all these things, and all at this one moment, there's this literal separation of him and God. You're like, how is this happening? But it's because of the sin that's in the between them, where he feels like God is very far out and not close to him. And then they're saying that they're seeing how Jesus cried with a loud voice, and then there was the veil of the temple is also being torn from top to bottom. And all of this is going on, this whole scenario. Many say that there was this eclipse that also happened, this darkness all of a sudden. And it's you go from a sunny day to a drastic darkness. And while the centurion is seeing Jesus at the feet of the cross, he's looking at all what's going on, the darkness, him crying, the way he said, "God, forgive them, they don't know what they're doing." All of these things the centurion is seeing. And then he sees these people are mocking him. He's seeing his mother cry at his feet and stuff, at the feet of the cross. And the centurion, what his job is to make sure that the crucifixion is being done. And once it's done, he has to say trespass him with an arrow or something, but something to make sure that he was completely dead. But as this centurion is seeing, literally on verse 39, that Jesus literally gave himself up, and that's when it was his last moments, last breath. And the centurion is seeing this whole commotion of everything. He probably hears someone coming here with the news that such and such thing happened, this, that, and the other. And we also, like, not only that, but he's also having like this conversation. Jesus Christ was having this conversation with the two thieves that were also on that same like moment. They were all being crucified. So the centurion is seeing like this whole like scenario, all this like stuff happening. And he must have been like, I've never seen such a thing. I've never seen such a person feel like, or like saying all these things, all this stuff going around. But that's when the centurion was like, surely this has to be the son of God. And that's when I came to realize, wow, no wonder he said all this stuff. Like, no wonder the centurion was like, with all of the commotion, with all the things that he was hearing, seeing, witnessing, literally, how could he not believed that it was Jesus? Like, he's literally there standing. And that's what actually marked like this difference. Well, with everything that the centurion was seeing, it had me like meditating and thinking, like, this is extraordinary. Like, seeing all of this, like even as I'm over here describing every single like detail, or like all these moments that he was looking at and witnessing, like, that made me remind myself that Jesus shows himself through like miracles. He shows himself through like people. And even though we may get so used to it as Christians, like seeing miracles, seeing this, that, and other acts that Jesus does for us, but as much as we are not surprised, like, there are many other people who still haven't experienced the gospel, the true, like, actual gospel. And they're like, wait, really? Like, this is possible? Like, there's people that won't be able to witness such a thing. And you're like, well, I mean, it's the usual. It's something that just happens. And this other person might be like the centurion and be like, hold up, what do you mean? Like this is something different. But that's what probably happened with one of the disciples that were right there with like next to like Mary, the mother of Jesus, saying, well, I've seen all sorts of miracles. So he might have just expected like all of like this going on, knowing that he actually is the Son of God. So he was expecting to see that in such a way, probably not specifically like that, but to just know that he had the opportunity to witness it and say, yeah, obviously he is. But unlike the centurion that didn't quite know Jesus probably like that, he probably heard of him, probably like heard some things from him, because for him to say, oh, so they actually do mean he is the Son of God. Like, he can't just have said that out of like the nowhere. He must have had like this previous knowledge of like, yes, there's like this Jesus from such and such place that says such and such stuff, that did this miracle and healed the blind, heals the leper, all of this. He probably knew about it, but he was like, okay, I don't believe until I don't see anything. But God, in his like almighty grace, he's like, I'm gonna let him, or like, he's gonna be one of the first to actually like firsthand like witness like this whole, like, I would say in a way like cosmic like shift. Like, now we literally were that the crucifixion of Jesus Christ is literally like the split between like the law and the grace, like the time of grace. So all of this together, all at one moment, that makes me realize, am I literally being appreciative of all that I'm able to witness and experience from God? To know that I'm able to have like this direct contact with God and like pray, take that moment to like literally enjoy of him. Because back in like the Israelites' time, like with the temple and stuff, the Jews, many of them couldn't have like this direct like talk with God. It was literally like through a priest. So having this all in mind, are we being appreciative? Are we being grateful for all that we have? Are we being grateful for all that Jesus Christ has done on that cross to save us, to forgive us and give us new life? I put myself in like thinking, am I being grateful? Am I actually doing all that Jesus Christ commanded me? So as Christians and probably new believers, we have to have this in mind. We're not going to do things perfectly all the time, but we have to strive to always do better. And with this, this is like the overall moment to say we have to recognize, like the centurion recognizes Jesus' divinity, and let us not get so used to seeing like miracles to the point we feel desensitized, but every day be like, yes, it's all because of God's grace and stuff, and have like a heart going back with like a child that whenever he experiences something, he's like, this is new or this is different, and go back to that like first love and not take Jesus's divinity for granted, you know, and let us like keep having those experiences like the centurion had whenever he believed in Jesus. So this is like the second centurion that impacted my life. When I read about him, I was like, wow, I really need to refresh myself and remember all that Jesus Christ has done in my life. So with the first centurion, I had learned like faith with like, I would say in a way like prophetic acts or like something beyond that. And with the centurion, I'm believing in a way that I might get so used to seeing God's miracles, but whenever I like try to take it as my first time, it brings like this like I recount all those moments that I've enjoyed in God. So I hope this Bible study has helped y'all. And like this way of like meditating God's word, it's a little different. I was gonna bring something historical and stuff, but I felt guided in God to do something like this. So thank you for listening, and it'll be for the next episode, for the fourth and last episode of this series. So God bless.